There's a secret hidden in the architecture of your mind that no one told you about. While you believe manifestation is about repeating affirmations, visualizing intensely, and waiting for the universe to respond to your desires, there's a specific neurological code operating silently behind the scenes of your consciousness. This algorithm is manifesting your reality 60,000 times per day without you realizing it, and 95% of people use it completely backwards. Perhaps you've already tried every manifestation technique you know: vision boards, morning affirmations, guided meditations, and felt frustrated when results didn't come or came inconsistently. The truth is, there's a specific neurological sequence your brain uses to collapse possibilities into concrete experiences. And when you don't know this sequence, you're unconsciously manifesting exactly what you don't want. Perhaps you feel like you're always almost getting there, but something invisible always sabotages your results at the last moment. As if there's a hidden force working against your conscious desires, keeping you trapped in the same patterns, the same limiting relationships, the same financial difficulties. This sensation of fighting against an invisible current can generate profound frustration and even doubts about your own power to create the reality your heart recognizes as possible. The pain of applying technique after technique without consistent results can create a sense of inadequacy, as if you are fundamentally different from people who seem to manifest with ease, as if there's a secret everyone knows except you. Joe Dispenza revolutionized our understanding of manifestation when he discovered that our brain cannot distinguish between a real experience and an intensely imagined one. Neville Goddard, decades earlier, had already unveiled that imagination is the redemptive power in man, the mechanism through which we create our reality. The truth that will transform your life is this: there's a specific neurological code that programs your reality. When you discover and apply the precise algorithm your brain uses to collapse possibilities into concrete experiences, manifestation stops being trial and error and becomes an exact science applied to your life. Today, you're going to discover this code and learn to use it consciously. Your brain is constantly performing a silent manifestation experiment you don't even imagine. Every second, it processes thousands of bits of information and chooses which ones will become your conscious experience. This selection process is your natural manifestation system functioning automatically, filtering reality based on specific neurological patterns. The problem is this system is programmed to filter reality based on your past experiences, not your future visions. It's like having an internal GPS configured to always take you back to the same place, even when you want to go to a completely new destination. Your brain manifests the familiar because it interprets familiarity as safety. Your brain functions like a sophisticated internal navigation system, constantly directing you toward experiences that correspond to your current programming. The problem is, this GPS was programmed by your past experiences, not your future desires. It's like having a navigation system that only knows the way to your old house, even when you want to go to a new one. No matter how many times you input the new address, it keeps trying to take you to the familiar place. Your brain does exactly the same thing with your reality. it automatically navigates toward experiences that correspond to already established neurological patterns. To reprogram this system, you need to consciously create new neural pathways that lead to your future vision, not your past memories. Neuroscience reveals a shocking truth. 95% of our daily thoughts are exact repetitions of yesterday's thoughts. This means you're constantly reinforcing the same neural patterns that created your current reality. Like a scratched record always playing the same song, each repetitive thought is like a vote sent to your subconscious about what kind of reality you want to continue experiencing. If you think the same thoughts, feel the same emotions, and take the same actions, you're programming your brain to manifest more of the same experience. The key is to consciously break this cycle of repetition and create new neural patterns that support the reality you actually want to live. There's a specific neurological window of 21 days where you can completely reprogram your brain's automatic patterns. During this critical period, conscious repetition of new thoughts, emotions, and behaviors creates new neural networks that become automatic. The neural reset happens when you consciously interrupt old patterns and install new patterns through intentional and consistent repetition. It's like reformatting a computer and installing a completely new operating system that supports programs the old one couldn't run. During these 21 days, your brain is literally rebuilding itself to support a new version of you and a corresponding new reality. Each emotion you feel creates a specific chemical cascade in your brain. When you consciously cultivate elevated emotions like genuine gratitude, pure joy, and unconditional love, you're literally creating new neural connections that support experiences corresponding to these states. The secret is feeling the emotions of your desired reality before it manifests physically. When you can genuinely generate the feelings of already having what you desire, you program your brain to recognize and create experiences that correspond to these elevated emotional states. This is the chemistry of transformation. New emotions create new neurology, which creates new biology, which creates new reality. At the quantum level, you're already entangled with all possible versions of yourself, including the version living in the total abundance you desire. This entanglement means there's no real distance between you and the life you want to live, only differences in vibrational frequency. Your abundant version isn't a distant future possibility, but a present reality existing simultaneously at a different frequency. Through quantum entanglement, you can directly access the qualities, feelings, and experiences of this expanded version of yourself. Manifestation isn't about creating something new from nothing, but about consciously tuning into the frequency of the version of you that already possesses what you desire. Quantum physics proved something revolutionary. The act of observing collapses waves of possibility into specific experiences. Your conscious attention isn't passive, as we've been taught. It's an active, creative force that literally shapes reality. Moment by moment, where you consistently place your attention, you create more of that. If you obsessively focus on problems, you collapse more problematic experiences. If you focus on abundance with clarity and emotion, you collapse abundant experiences. The power of the observer effect is that you can consciously choose where to place your attention, and thus directly choose which reality to experience. Everything in the universe is energy vibrating at specific and measurable frequencies. Abundance has a vibrational frequency. Scarcity has a completely different one. To experience abundance, you need to vibrate at its frequency, not just desperately want it. Vibrating at the frequency of abundance means feeling, thinking, and acting as if you are already abundant. When you can maintain this frequency consistently, you automatically attract experiences that resonate with it through the law of quantum resonance. Wanting keeps you at the frequency of lack. Vibrating places you at the frequency of possession. The time between intention and manifestation is created by your perception of distance between you and what you desire. When you eliminate this perception of separation, you eliminate manifestation time. In the quantum field, everything exists simultaneously. Past, present, and future are constructs of the linear mind. Time is just the sequence in which you choose to experience different possibilities that already exist. When you operate from absolute certainty that you already possess what you desire, you collapse the time between intention and physical experience. The paradox is that the less you need something, the more quickly it manifests in your reality. Are you feeling this shift in perspective happening now? This understanding that perhaps you already have the code, you are just applying it in the wrong direction. Before we continue to the next secret, leave in the comments one word that represents the new identity you're activating from this revelation. Your declaration is the first signal of your new code in operation. Identity is the access code to different realities. Each version of you has automatic access to specific experiences corresponding to that identity. When you fundamentally change who you are at the deepest level, reality automatically reorganizes to correspond to the new identity. This explains why people who win the lottery often lose everything quickly. They didn't change their internal identity, just their external circumstances temporarily. External reality always aligns with internal identity, not the other way around. Action is important, but identity is what determines what kind of actions you naturally take and what kind of results those actions inevitably produce. To embody a new identity, the old version of you needs to die, symbolically. This death isn't physical, but the conscious end of identification with limitations that cannot sustain your new desired reality. This death can be profoundly uncomfortable because the old identity was familiar and predictable, even being limiting. But it's impossible to be two people at the same time. You need to consciously choose which version to feed with your attention and energy. The process of death of the old identity is actually a birth of the true identity that was waiting to emerge beneath the layers of conditioning. The quantum field constantly tests your coherence, the consistency between who you say you are and how you actually operate moment by moment. When there's total alignment between your declared identity and your lived identity, the field responds with corresponding manifestations. Incoherence creates interference in the quantum signal. If you identify as abundant but consistently act from scarcity, you send contradictory signals that confuse the field and prevent clear manifestations. Coherence is rewarded with fast and consistent manifestations because there's no internal conflict for the field to resolve. When you genuinely embody a new identity, something extraordinary happens. Your perception of the past automatically reorganizes. Events that previously seemed limiting become springboards for your expansion. Experiences that seemed like failures reveal themselves as necessary preparation. This isn't denial of the past, but a reinterpretation based on the new identity. You begin to see how each experience contributed to who you're becoming, creating a coherent narrative of growth. The memory of the future is when you remember who you always were beneath the layers of social conditioning and learned limitations. There's a specific sequence that accelerates any manifestation when applied in the correct order. Decision, embodiment, aligned action, intelligent permission. Each step activates a different part of the neural and quantum code, creating a synergistic effect that compresses manifestation time. Decision creates neural clarity and defines direction. Embodiment aligns your identity with the new reality. Aligned action demonstrates coherence between being and doing. Intelligent permission removes resistance and allows the quantum field to organize the details. When you follow this sequence in the correct order, you activate the complete manifestation code and drastically accelerate results. There's a specific moment where a genuine decision can rewrite decades of neural programming. When you make a true decision, not just a preference or hope, you create an instant neural change that reorganizes your entire internal structure. Neuroscience shows that 17 seconds of pure and emotional focus can create new neural networks and begin dissolving old patterns. These 17 seconds of total clarity and emotional alignment are worth more than years of inconsistent and confused attempts. True decision isn't made only with the mind, but with your entire being aligned in a specific direction. Magnetic action is fundamentally different from desperate action. You act from the identity that already possesses what you desire, not to get what you don't have. This subtle shift completely transforms the energetic quality of action and its results. When you act from the new reality, your actions carry a different frequency that magnetically attracts corresponding results. You're not desperately chasing, you're naturally expressing who you are. Magnetic action flows naturally from the new identity and creates results that confirm and expand that identity. The final paradox is that the more you try to obsessively control how and when your manifestation will happen, the more you delay the process. Intelligent permission is about clearly defining what you want and allowing the quantum field to organize the details in the most efficient way. Releasing control isn't passivity or resignation. It's active trust in the organizing intelligence of the universe. You program the intention with clarity and allow it to manifest through the path of least resistance. Control creates energetic tension that blocks natural flow. Permission creates space for manifestation to happen organically. The most liberating recognition is that you are always the programmer of your reality. You already master the manifestation code perfectly. You were just applying it in the wrong direction. Every experience you've ever lived is irrefutable evidence of your power to create reality through your consciousness. You don't need to learn how to manifest. You need to recognize that you're already a master manifester and consciously redirect this power. The same neural force that created limitations can create abundance. The same capacity that manifested problems can manifest solutions. The power inversion happens when you stop being a victim of your unconscious creations and assume the role of conscious creator of your experience. Instead of reacting to the reality you created unconsciously, you intentionally program the reality you want to experience. This inversion transforms you from spectator to director of your own experience. You stop asking, "Why is this happening to me?" and start consciously deciding, "What do I want to create now?" Your new normal is a life where conscious manifestation isn't exception, but pattern, where you naturally operate from the expanded identity and create experiences that confirm this identity without effort or struggle. In this new normal, you no longer need to fight to manifest because you're constantly creating from internal alignment. Life becomes a natural expression of your conscious creative power, flowing with the same naturalness with which you breathe. The code behind manifestation isn't a secret guarded by few. It's a power you've always possessed. You just needed to be reminded how to use it consciously. Today you discovered you're already a perfect manifester, and now you can direct this power to intentionally create the reality you desire. From this moment, you can apply the complete algorithm, reprogram your neurology, align your identity, follow the activation sequence, and allow your new reality to emerge naturally. If this content resonated with something deep within you, subscribe to the channel to continue receiving the codes that activate your conscious creative power. Share this video with someone who needs to discover they already possess the manifestation code. And leave in the comments, what's the first reality you're going to consciously program using this code? Remember, you're not learning to manifest. You're remembering how to consciously use the power that was always yours.